So now after doing the 2 magic miles, our party continues on, and the next map code we get to, as the party adventures forward, is map code C. There's several descriptions that are going to happen with this room. It's kind of a complicated room. The flights of stairs stop at a landing at the top of a winding staircase that continues down very deep into the earth. The stairs wind around the wall of the central shaft. There are no handrails or banisters protecting a long plummet into the unseen depths. The light from the ever-burning torches fades before any evidence of a bottom is revealed. The temperature has cooled somewhat. It's 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius. Another magic mouth sounds, but the voice has changed. No apprentice belongs this deep. Death awaits. Why don't you end it now? And the party has now been subject to a suggestion spell at a DC 15. And it's, oh no. All of them are going to need to make a save, or they're going to jump off this landing into these unseen depths. So, how do we do that? Well, we go into... best thing to kind of do is just do kind of a dummy combat. Just pick something that you could be fighting this hobgoblin, but we're not going to be fighting this hobgoblin. We're just going in to do update combat sheet, because now we can go through and see what the will save is for each character. And we have fighter here, and he needs to make a 15 or he will jump to his death. Oh, he's probably going to be jumping. Oh, no, fighter makes a save. Yeah, how about that? Then we have a +1 here on scout. And scout predictably fails. But now we have a +6, so we're feeling like we have a shot here with the cleric. And he makes a save as well. And then the mage, also getting a +6. And with a 6 plus, yes, 9 plus 6 is 15, makes a save. So the only one not to make their save is Scout. So Scout's about to jump to his death. So how do we handle that here in this map code C? Oh, we end this combat because it was a dummy combat. Those saving can save those failing or failing. And so they need just requires a perception DC 10 to save the character. So we will go into perform skills, and we can do this kind of as a group roll. No, you don't want to do it as a group roll. You want to have each one do it individually. That way you have a better chance actually of one of them making it and saving Scout from dying. So it's 10. Die roll. Rolled a 1. Good thing we didn't have it as a group roll. So then we go here, and then we go to miscellaneous. Then we go to perception. It's too bad our best oh, this is going to be no, yeah. Clerics are good at perceiving because of the high will. Die roll makes it. All right, so we have now saved the Scout. So cleric has now grabbed the Scout and kept the Scout from plummeting to his death. So that's good. So after the if you lose everything, then you got to read party wipe in the appendix. So we have a perception roll for the apprentice if they're still alive, and our apprentice is still alive, of a 10. Makes it. And so now we know that the Magic Mouth is the voice of Suponez's imp, Lucien. And without going and just doing all these die rolls over and over again for you, takes too long and makes the tutorial go too long. We know if you do the monster lore, imps do not typically cast Magic Mouse. If you make both of these, then you come to the realization that this is not a Magic Mouth and that Lucien is just invisible near you and is actually here, casting that suggestion. And so a clank of metal and a chitter of animals can be heard in the depths. Another couple of perception rolls can be determined to see if you know what's coming towards you. It turns out it's going to be a rat swarm. And then description 3, a stone slab begins to close from the top of the threshold between the landing and the flight of stairs from where you just entered. You all hustle through, but now you're trapped. Another sound can be heard from the darkness far above the landing. At this point, you can decide to just leave if you wanted. You can go the other way, go back up the stairs, and then the adventure is over. But my party was brave enough to continue. If everybody failed their save and you got the reboot from the party wipe, maybe you do just want to leave because this is going to be a pretty dangerous adventure for you. But so now we know that there's also a bat swarm coming in from the top, coming down after you. So from above and below, the bats and rats attack. Swinging weapons at these swarms is useless. They must be combated by other means, or the gig is up. A high-pitched, malicious laugh as the bats and rats descend and ascend respectively on their next meal. So then we begin the encounter, and how you begin an encounter is you go into combat. Don't want to do the last encounter. That was that dummy encounter. You go pick SA. SA stands for Suponez's Apprentice in here. Encounter C. Done. Get to begin round 1. And Scout is now able to do something, and he can attack either Bat 1 or Rat, or the Bat Swarm or the Rat Swarm, depending on which he so chooses. And we're going to stop for that right now, and talk a little bit about what happened when I was doing this live for both parties. Well, party when I did it the first time through, party Genericus all leapt to their death based on Lucien's suggestion. I had a party wipe. Nobody made their save, and so on reboot they vanquished the bat and rat swarms with shield bashes primarily. Shield bash, to me, even though it would be considered a weapon attack, it's a broad weapon attack, and swinging a torch supposedly does hurt a swarm, and I think a shield bash would do more damage than swinging a torch at a swarm. So you could do the fire damage with that. So I allow shield bashes to be the one weapon attack that actually works against a swarm, and so they knocked them down. The cleric with the swarm attacks, and you get that automatic damage. It is a problem, and the cleric had to use 2 of his 3 spell points on Cure Light Wounds to get the party back up to reasonable levels of hit point status. Party Pip, Autumn's daughter, was the only one to make her save. She made the perception roll to save the rest of the party, because one character can save 3 if she notices they're all getting ready to jump. And so she lashed out, grabbed them, saved them, and so Party Pip did not get a party wipe there, though it was close. They had a much more difficult fight with the swarms. They only had 1 shield basher as opposed to 2. The cleric and the fighter and Party Genericus could both shield bash, and only Robert Elfhader and the Party Pips could shield bash, making this much more difficult fight. And they had to use 2 Cure Moderate Wounds potions before everything was to the 2 swarms were killed. Autumn's daughter also had to use 2 flasks of alchemist fire on each one of the swarms, and Robert Elfhoner got burned a bit from the splash of the alchemist fire, but managed to beat the swarms. And Autumn's daughter contracted filth fever, which the onset is in 3 days, and so and so there's no way to cure it right now, and there's no way to go back up into town to find somebody who can cure it because they're locked in. So that's the state of affairs for Party Pip. They have a character who's going to be sick in 3 days, and they had to use a lot of their potions. So the last description here, aftermath, when the battle is over. With the chaotic magic that had these pests swarming in mass destroyed, the remaining few critters scramble and fly away, leaving only cries of pain in their wake. Alright, so that's Mapcode C.